I'll see the beat die.
We just mentioned this concept briefly. It's from Australia. So you just briefly, seriously. I'll call it. Don't worry, it is. He has been on it.
Hello, Ẹ̀gbọ́n. Ẹ̀gbọ́n
Yes,
Yemo.
yes, so my dear.
I like this, young madam.
Yes, I just felt I must show my face, no matter how briefly.
Welcome, welcome.
Because
Thank you.
Because I've missed you guys.
We missed you too. It's been a while.
Okay.
Hello, Egbo.
Yes,
hello,
my brother.
I'm
let
good.
Me just
good to see you, Vicky. Yeah.
Let me just allow you to kick it off, and then I'll take you, if you don't mind, I'll take you on a brief trip on the. Is it the museum or what is what?
That would be great. Yes.
Okay. Yes, I will take you on a brief trip through the mini museum at the Palace of Ife.
Wow,
and
fantastic.
Then
all right. Yeah.
I will also avail us the opportunity of listening briefly to somebody. We are here for a reason. There is a World Yoruba Festival and Carnival coming up. And that's why we are here. Somebody is going to just briefly talk about the concept to us. And later on,
great, yes.
we'll have the opportunity of doing this. But maybe you should just start, and then I'll quickly do this before the KBC comes down.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So Wale, you are welcome.
Thank you, Vicky. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back. Always good to be back. So how have you been?
Not much. This the last week of the school holiday.
Yes.
So I had to, create a bit of time. So just working and, trying to also create a bit. Yeah, a combination of both, working from home and also, going to office, and also we have, the school holiday. So it was a busy week, just trying to at least to take the girls out and let them enjoy a bit of the school holiday before they go back to school, next week. Yeah.
All right. So what is going on in our beautiful country, Nigeria? What are the updates? But before we go there, I will add our guest of today to the show, our guest panelist, Florence Adeniji. Florence, you are welcome.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Good afternoon. It's
I'm fine,
evening
and
down
you?
here. So, yeah, we are doing great. So, Florence, can you introduce yourself briefly to the other panelists?
Okay, my name is Florence Adeniji. I'm from Kwara State, but I reside in Oshogo State.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
into production of sanitary pads. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So that falls in line with what we will be talking about today. What our country is turning into. Country of self-help people. We are kind of helping ourselves now. So, and I just believe that having you on the show will kind of buttress our point of the topic of today. So, welcome to the show. We have our Egbon Yemisho Dimo. I'm sure you know him very well. Who is currently at Ofife Palace, and he will be showing us around shortly. Welcome. And then to Wale Olaiton, that is the. Are you still there? Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Wale
still here. Yeah.
Wale Olaiton is the moderator of the show, so he will be the one taking charge shortly. And then we have Mr. Elvis Nwachuku Mbukwenu here also. So we are the panelists, and from time to time we do get guests to come in and add their voices to what we're talking about. So I just wanted to introduce you to the rest of the panelists. So you're welcome to join us today.
Vicky,
Welcome,
Vicky,
welcome to
sorry,
the show.
sorry, Vicky, sorry, Wally
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Elvis.
Thank you,
If
sir.
you, hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello, we
yes,
can hear you.
If you don't mind, can I quickly do this because I don't want
Yes,
Kabi's entrance to
yes,
disrupt this.
please, please go ahead.
Okay, briefly. I'm in the mini museum right now, and I'm going to be introducing. What's your name, sir? I didn't hear that. Akonima Shoot happens to be, yeah, happens to be one of the is one of the MSs of KBSC. Is one
All
of the
right.
MSs of KBSC, and I will just briefly just tell us a few things here, and please go on. Please speak up. Please speak up.
Award chef of our father.
Okay, this is the award shelf of KBSC, and they change this every week because there are so many awards that are stored somewhere here. So they try to change this every week for visitors. So what you see this week may be different from what you will see next time. That is one presented by Major Ras J. Baraka, right? Say what?
City of New York.
That's an award from the city of New York. I hope you can see that. Hello, I hope you can see that.
Yes, we can.
So yes, okay. And then we have some precious stones that are mined at Ife. Some very precious stones. I'll show you quite a number of them. They are here. You got the tourmaline. You have smoky quartz, all from Ife. We have watermelon tourmaline here. These are precious stones that you will find lying under the surface at Ife. These Ife gemstones, a special collection of precious stones bestowed on Ile-Ife by Eledumare, and you find them there. And you're talking about big money here. And then what you have here, if you can see, is Obalufon golden image. This is the one man, this is one Oba that ruled Ife for 400 years. 400 years. I hope you can see. This Oba ruled Ife for 400 years. And I'll just make this very brief. These are pictures of former Onis from old Odudua. Osangangan, Obamakin, Ogun, Obalufon. Oromia, and so on and so forth. So many of them. So many. And then this will interest Vicky. This is that of a woman that once ruled at Ife. She's called Luwo. Luwo Gbagida. That's that ruled Ife. And then you must have heard of the Are crown. This is the famous Are crown. Tell us briefly about this crown. This is a replica of the famous Are crown.
This Are is one like 50 kg. One bag of cement.
Yes, it is. It weighs like 50 kg, a bag of cement. This crown, and it is worn only once in a year. Only once in a year at Olojo Festival.
But if it remains like 5 days, our father will put this crown. We need to have 5. The fowl that have 5 fingers.
That is used. A fowl with 5 fingers is used as sacrifice before the Are crown can be worn by the One. But remember, this is a replica. The real one you can't see. Only once in a year you can. It is locked up somewhere. You cannot see the real one. But it's exactly like this. Yes, of course, these are chiefs. Chief that sits on the left of Oni
in council.
Oni in council. The head of those chiefs are
left is lower.
Lower is the head of those chiefs out there. And of course, they are the chiefs that sit on by the right with Obalufe as their head.
That's the prime minister.
So that's a brief trip, so as not to fit into all your time. That's a brief trip on the mini museum at Ife. But I just want I want to get the head of this delegation to briefly talk about this World Festival. Otumba Femi Karina is here with me. And this, of course, will interest our viewers, especially sons and daughters in diaspora. Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Otumba.
How are you?
Well, good, thank you.
That's good.
You're looking regal.
Yeah. We are in Ife to give KBSC a report of what we've been doing on the first Yoruba Carnival of Culture and Arts. And we are waiting for KBSC to give him a brief of exactly what we've been doing. The carnival itself, it's coming together of all the Yorubas all over the world, in the United States, in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, Togo, Ghana, all the way to Nupe, North Central. And we're going to converge in the Southwest Nigeria come February 22nd next year.
Okay, so that's 2022 in February.
Well, the idea basically is to look inward into the ethnic group called Yoruba and see how we can better ourselves, how we can better our lot. But we are going to start with dancing, singing, and all that. And the symposium, everything will come in there. And we'll find out from ourselves, where did we go wrong as Black people? We are the most populous Black people all over the world. The Yorubas are, not just in Yoruba. Nigeria is the most populous Black nation. But inside Nigeria, the Yorubas are the most populous. So we want to get ourselves together and see what we can make out of ourselves.
Would you have a question or two for Otumba, Vicky, and Wale, and of course Elvis?
So is the carnival happening in Ife?
A lot of things have been put into consideration. Among other things is the security or the insecurity in Nigeria. So the venue is going to be Ogun State. We are going to make it like a one city event like the Olympics. So we are going to, everything is going to be in Abeokuta, Ogun State. It's not going to be in Ife or Ibadan or any of those places. We're just going to make it one city event, and it's going to be in Abeokuta.
Okay.
All right.
I'll tell you, yeah, on a lighter note, I listened to you carefully, and you mentioned, all of the continents and the countries of the world that will be partaking in this event. Is there any reason why Australia is not in the equation? Why have you excluded us? I didn't hear you mention Australia.
Exactly, that's the reason why we're talking to you. So
Okay.
definitely you're going to come home for February.
Okay, all right.
Are we invited?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the reason for this.
So that gives us some level of confidence, because we don't want to crash the gates. So as long as
oh, that's so good. We are so excited, and hopefully with coronavirus, hopefully by then we will be free to move around. We would love to be part of it. But no matter what, Egmoyemi Shodimo will be our eyes and our ears down over there. So
you have everything.
Yeah, definitely. Wale, do you have any question for Tumba?
Wale, we can't hear you. On mute, Wale.
Yeah, on Tuba, Femi, Karina, thanks so much for your time, and thanks so much for the good things you do for the Yoruba race. We have the Yoruba, a strong Yoruba association here in Melbourne. If you don't mind, I will provide the contact, the president, Mr. Shasoguntade, is a friend of mine. If you don't mind, I'll provide his number to Egbon Yemi, so that you can talk to Mr. Oguntade and see, Shawnee, Australia, if whatever level of contribution that we want to be part of that program, so that okay.
Why not?
Okay.
Egbon Yemi, as you put it, is part and parcel and a key member of the planning committee. So you have him, you have everybody.
No a problem. Thank you so much, Otumba.
Thank you, Otumba. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So let me say a big thank you to you guys. I need to leave you at this point, unfortunately, but I can assure you that there is no way we're going to do this without the involvement of Australia. We will not be complete. We certainly will not be complete. So I'll keep you updated on this.
Okay.
And I pray we will get the best out of it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Egbon. Go and have fun, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, though. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye. All right. So that's about Egbon. Egbon has gone and show us around Ife. So that we appreciate him for that. But before we get into tonight's program fully, we got what is trending that we tend to talk about, and we make this brief. And I would like to actually start with what is trending. So what is trending? There are a couple of things for me. And I've got a picture here. Well, I hope everyone can see this. This is a young girl who was in a boarding house. I think she was 11 or 12 years old, a boarding house, and the girl was sexually molested, and there was evidence, there was everything. But in the Nigeria that we live in now, I don't know what's gonna happen, whether it's gonna be buried or whatever. But it's quite disheartening that you, as a parent, I can't imagine sending any of my kids to school and this happening to that child. I just can't imagine it. We feel guilty, even them staying and living with us, and they get injured in any way, whether playing sports or whatever. And then I pay a lot of money for that child to go to school, and this happened to that child. I can't deal at all. So I'm not sure what is going to happen going forward. But this is not the first case. This is not the second case. We've had so many cases like this. but what are we doing to protect these children? I don't know. My second update is to do with this, and most of us we've seen
before.
this.
If you don't want to do, you don't do. You
During
know
the
that
week.
you did not do anything. See him now. See him. See him. Now be this. See, I swear to God, if anybody, make una no worry. God dey see all of us for this country wey we dey so. Everybody wey dey for this evil, wey dey happen for this country, tomorrow they will say na Buhari. Tomorrow everybody go dey point finger at Buhari. Nothing small opportunity wey we go get to represent our people well. No, my own community, God forbid bad thing. God forbid bad thing. See rubbish wey dey happen everywhere. People don dey comot. See rubbish wey dey happen. They say make me, I dey pray. Say make me, I dey pray for person wey dey do wrong. Pray for wetin? Pray for which rubbish? Pray for which rubbish? How you gonna do this thing? Not if you tell me the road one, where the water go dey flow through. Where na one make the water dey flow through. Where the pastor wey be dey clear for here. Where the pastor be clear for here. I don't get problem with now. Na the pastor wey dey teach the one wey dey do this nonsense. Now I get issue with. Na the bastard I get issue with. They will give them money when they do something. Their papa will get the money. They will do nothing. God will punish all of you. They will kill you. This one they will kill all of you. Zero. Now my ordinary hand. Ordinary hand. Ordinary hand. Now I tell the open now. So ordinary hand. Zero where they do. Zero. Zero where they do. Ogu kill that person. Ogu go kill the person. God go punish all of una. When they represent us, when no they do it, God go kill all of una. Because the money they come, una they chop her. And many of una when they do this thing, Ogu go kill una. Other here who did? I mean, therefore, they will not do anything. See rubbish, see nonsense. If I put that on this road, then I saw all go open. All the road go open.
Vicky, you're muted.
Oh, no, I'm not. Can you hear me now? Okay, so that is my second update. I really don't need to do much talking after you've seen that. They're currently making roads all over the place in Melbourne, even in Melbourne suburb. You see how thick they dig. They dig so thick and so deep, and they put cement as thick as this. Before they put the black, I can't remember what they call the tar on top of it. The tar is as thick as this as on its own. So you can see what that guy will show. If all of us can be so emotional and so worked up when contractors do what they do. Because if those contractors are being brought to books, if they're being dealt with, they won't continue. And then they can go back and say, it's the money you gave me, or you asked me to bribe, you have me to pay for this, you have me to pay for that. That's why I couldn't do this work. Nobody will be taking that kind of job. But we can all see that. But you just imagine if every other person becomes so worked up and so emotional and scream and yell out when they see that kind of thing. Just imagine how that can change what is happening in Nigeria. So what are your thoughts? What do you think? Wale, you're next.
Look, I will just, in terms of what is trending, I will follow your pattern. I will start with the first one about the 12 or 11-year-old, child that was sexually molested in a boarding school. I think there's a need to have a kind of national child protection agency, and also maybe at local level as well, in each state of the country to have, similar child protection agency. I think based on the information we're gathering in recent years, it appears there's a ring of pedophiles, taking advantage of kids in their care, across schools and across different areas. So I would think there's a need for, for government to really act up and create a specialized, child protection agency for proper investigation and for prosecution of offenders and to be jailed for as long as possible. And the second update is just regarding the second video that poorly constructed road somewhere in Edo. I think as a form of update, just I think yesterday or thereabout, the deputy governor of the state actually visited that site, just for him to see, the job himself. But there's a bit of confusion as far as I gathered. The road initially was constructed by a member, a House of Representative member representing that community. So I'm not just so sure why now the deputy governor has now decided to go on kind of visitation tour of that project. Maybe that was a response to the public outcry. But the real man that actually constructed that road, represented that community, is a member of House of Representative. But the most important thing is about the message from the guy. He was really upset about it. He was angry about it, and it came out loudly. That is citizenship, kind of citizens action, and I think we need a lot of that in Nigeria.
Definitely. Yeah. Thanks, Wale. Elvis, you're next. What's your what's trending for you?
Okay. What's trending for me is, I mean, it's you may have come across it as well, all over social media, where an honorable member of the House of Reps was accused of introducing a bill that was meant to jail protesters for 5 years. Yeah, did you come across that one, Wale? Did you?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, but in reality, I saw that someone sent that to me because the member in question is a bosom friend of mine, the one who's been trying to get onto this show. And I went online and then I read his proposal. He actually has a good proposal going. But what's happened there is the Vanguard picked up that piece of news and turned it upside down. His proposal actually was to bring into force a law that will make it an offense and a jailable offense as at that, where people engage in mob action. Usually like when back in the days in Lagos, once people hear ole ole, someone is running, they don't even care what's transpired. They hack the person down. 100 people can converge and beat the person to pulp, even set them ablaze. So he was introducing a bill actually to make it, an offense for people to do that, but it's gone the other way around. So yeah, it's all over the place. It's trending all over the social media, but he's gone back to debunk that. I saw he sent me a caption where, at the house there, he denied that wasn't his proposal, and the Speaker of the House also had asked Vanguard to do the honorable thing to recount that story. So yeah, it's been all over the place, and I thought I should share. Yeah.
Thanks, Elvis. I saw that you sent the video, but unfortunately, I needed to I needed to perform a magic to be able to put it on here. But because I didn't get it in time, I couldn't do it. So next time, if there's any video you want us to play, please send it a few hours before, so I can do what I have to do to be able to upload it.
Okay.
So let's get into today's show. Wale.
Thank you very much, and we go straight to today's topic. For months, we've been talking about government, and asking a lot of questions from the government. So tonight we're trying to look at a different perspective, and we're trying to change gear. And the question is just pretty straightforward. Is self-help, community development, the way to go in Nigeria? we just think that maybe we've been talking and relying so much on government, and it seems they are not really in the right space of mind, as we speak, to really respond to it. So maybe we need to really help ourselves. So to get the ball rolling, we've got Miss, or correct me, is Mrs. Florence Adeniji. Adeniji, Mrs. Florence Adeniji. You're welcome to the program, Mrs. Adeniji. Can you just tell us about your program? And tell us your program, your initiative, what it's all about, and how long you've been doing this for. Unmute, Miss.
Okay.
We can hear you now.
All right, ma. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity you've given me. I really appreciate, and I'm not taking this for granted. I'm into reusable and sanitary pad production. So I manufacture those pad and distribute to girl child in my area, in schools, in public schools actually. Because I discovered that most of these girls in school, they actually don't have money to buy sanitary pads. Sorry for my voice, I'm having cold.
That's okay.
So I encountered some girls, and we talked about their menstrual hygiene life, and some of them were like, during my period, I don't go to school. I'll just sit at home in a corner just to be there. They don't go to school because they can't afford sanitary pad. And the rate of the sanitary pad now is very high. At least the least you can get is 400 naira to buy a pad, and it won't last you just for a month. And some of these guys, mostly people in public school, they come from a poor background, like from the less privileged. So I was doing my NYC last year before the pandemic. So I thought of doing that as a project for NYC, but I couldn't do it because of the pandemic and all of that. So this year I started fully, I started producing, and I sell to some other people that have interest, but majorly I distribute them to public schools. And so far I've distributed 300 girls. Can you hear me? I've distributed to 300 girls, yeah, so far in Oshobo here, from Fakole School, ADSL Grammar School, and Nawarudin Grammar School here in Oshobo. And I was so excited. The way I see the girls, the way they were so excited, it gives me more courage that I can do more of this. We can't just put everything on government. Government can't solve all the problem, of course. So I thought that this can be my own impact to giving back to the community where I stay in Oshoboye.
Thank you very much. And in terms of, you've been able to provide sanitary, pads to, 300 girls. How much has that cost you so far?
It's cost me a lot. At least I've spent roughly 500,000 plus, but from my friends and family, and mostly my husband supported my program. So from there, I raised money from my friends and family.
Okay, so so far you spent, around 500,000. That's a lot of money, even by Australian standard. If you convert that to dollars, that should be, around $1,200 or thereabouts. It's still a lot. So we come back to you later for you to expand more, on that program. But I go now to Elvis. Elvis, you've been involved in a lot of community projects in your personal capacity and also as a former president of Rotary Club. So what is your understanding of self-help community project? What is it all about, and what are the major, constituents of a self-help community project? Hello, Elvis. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, community development through self-help is an age-long social activity. Even dating back to the days of colonization in Nigeria, people organized themselves in groups and used their communal resources to provide physical improvement and functional facilities for themselves. So at the end of the day, just like this is was I think you spoke earlier. I know, yeah, we put a lot of expectations on government, and but still, as individuals or community organizations, we can also do things to further enhance, you know, capabilities or help individuals in and around our communities. So, as a member of Rotary, as the president of Rotary at the time, and still ongoing, we engage in a lot of projects where we're not, we're just there to provide services to humanity based on the resources. You know, we engage in a lot of fundraising activities. We organize barbecues, we organize golf days, and raise funds from those activities. And those same funds are deployed back to the community in different areas of endeavor, and depending on the needs we identify. You know, we've handled so many projects ranging from helping children who cannot, and Mrs. Adenji, this shouldn't surprise you. So children who cannot afford to engage in sports here, um, uh, we bought them uniforms, and you know, the lady who had that initiative did it on twofold. Number one, to get the children involved in sports, and secondly, also to use it as an avenue to ensure that they engage in their studies as well. So on a particular day, if you come out to play netball, if you haven't, she will liaise with the schools. If you haven't done your homework, you don't play the game on the day. She makes you sit down to do your homework, and then you know, it just ensures that these children are happy because their parents can afford to get them in a sporting activities of their liking. Like I pay about $600 to have my son play soccer. Not every parent, Wale, you and I know, Vicky, not every parent can afford that in Australia. So that's our way of also giving back to the community. And honestly, that was the first time when we sit down and had lunch at dinner with these children. That was the moment I realized we're really doing something good for the community and engendered us more to do more. Because you could see, are they still there or are they gone?
I'm still here.
Okay, you could see, you know, they were so happy, they were elated
for whatever reason.
Okay, yeah. So the kids were really happy. They were so elated to show off their uniforms on the day, and that geared me on, and you know, it gave me the impetus to want to do more for the community.
Thank you very much, Elvis. I go to Dr. Vicky now. Beyond providing, you know, community infrastructure, how can, you know, in a country where we have a lot of poor people that are not economically empowered, how can we use self-help community projects to really empower people and get people out of poverty? So that if you have about 10 people in a community and only about 2 of them are economically viable to contribute towards the project, then we're still having a lot of problems. But if you have many more people empowered, we think that if they have projects, we have more people to really contribute. So share your thoughts with us, Dr. Vicky, on how, you know, we can use self-help projects to actually get people out of poverty.
Can you hear me? There's something on. All right. Can you hear me, Wale? Okay. See, there is a saying in a language that teach me how to fish. Don't just give me fish. Don't give me fish. Why do they reiterate that kind of saying? It's because yes, you give me fish today, I eat it. Tomorrow I will be hungry again. I don't want to keep coming back to beg for more fish. I don't want to keep coming back to say, give me more fish. If you teach me how to fish, I can get my own fish. I can go and source for it, which is what is behind so many programs and everything that is being put out there for people to learn different skills. We know what is perpetrating poverty in Nigeria. Yes, we have irresponsible government, and we've had that for so many years. So it's not just Buhari; it's been over time. So that's one of our problems. And the other problem that we do have is that the effect of the irresponsible governance that we've had for so many years, it's preventing those who had been to school, to university, it's preventing them from getting jobs because they had no foresight, they had no vision for the country, right? Now, what do we do to be able to make sure that people are out there helping one another and getting help? This young lady here, Florence Adeniji, shared with us how she was 7, not 10 years ago, not 20 years ago, only a couple of years ago. And here she is, with the help of her friends and family, she's been able to do something. She saw there is a need. It's always about the need within the community that we live in. Florence could have been saying, I just finished my service. I don't have a job yet. There could have been so many excuses. And even if you ask her, she will tell you all these excuses. But she refused to let those stop her from making a change within a community. Our people mostly, they have those excuses. Those excuses are readily available. I can't afford it. I can't do this. Florence is not a multimillionaire, but she's been able to talk to friends and family to say, I would love to do this. With their support, she's been able to bless so many young people that their parents can't afford, to give them this. So I really commend you for this, Florence. Now imagine if each and every one of us can think like Florence, where will our country be? There will be people, I've seen and I've heard and I've been approached, people that will ask for money to go and do Igbadu. There was someone that was even asking for money because it's party over the weekend. She needed money to go and spray at a party because they don't have a vision, because they actually don't care about others. It's about them showing off. So today it's about us learning from someone like Florence that if she can put all those excuses aside and rise above those excuses to take steps towards making a vision a reality, wow. If she can do it, every other person can do it too. So in a situation in Nigeria, we cannot continue to rely on the government. And I'm echoing the same thing that Florence said before. We expect everything from the government, but we can see that they can't really do everything for us. Even what they are meant to do, they are not actually doing what they're supposed to provide. They can't provide us water. They can't provide us electricity. How can we expect them to provide us with pads? We girls, we women. It's not going to happen. So from ideas like this, the idea came to you, Florence, and you took the first step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and here you are. I cannot commend you enough. I cannot thank you enough. And I would love to support what you do. Okay?
Thank you,
I would love to support what you do. I would love to back you on this project.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vicky. And just to buttress your point, in my small community in Ogun State in Nigeria, so myself and few friends, for about 4 years now, we came up with a small project whereby we go to schools, provide, whatever they need, something as simple as the whiteboard. I remember back in when we went to school, we had the black charcoal, blackboards, and I was surprised that many of the schools are still using that. So one of the first things we did just about 4 years ago was we gave them this new big whiteboard and everything, and I saw a lot of photos, how happy, how jubilant they were. Provided some chairs and tables for school. But the most interesting part of it is we also have an annual kind of to the best SSC students in that small community where I came from, and also for the junior secondary school. They get 500. Sorry, the best student in SSC exam gets a prize award of 100,000 naira. So, and the person is and the best junior WAEC, which is the GSS3 exams, in all the secondary school there, they get 20,000 naira each. So, but the most interesting part of it in terms of the empowerment, at one of the programs, the parents were sharing their experiences, and I remember vividly some saying that they've never in their life had any form of cash up to 20,000 in their life. They've never, not even talk of 100,000, and they were able to tell us how when they got that money, they were able to use it during the school holiday. Some of them doing their petty trading or whatever. They were using to use that part of money, put in their business for that small, during the school holiday, and they were able to make more money out of it without even, tampering with that cash prize than what it was meant for. And that wasn't part of our vision. Our vision was just to support this case. We can see how innovative some of the parents are. They actually use that money as a form of seed for their businesses. And you could see that multiplier effect. I just thought I should share that. I'll go back to Mrs. Adeniji. You're doing what you're doing now out of your love for humanity and, out of your little resources to be able to do this. What is your take? We have churches and religious groups in Nigeria that they have assets and they worth billions of naira. What is your take? Do you think they're doing enough? I mean, churches, mega churches, and also by extension, other religious groups. Do you think, in your opinion, do you think they are doing enough to support the community where they operate?
To some extent,
Hello, Mrs. Adeniji, are you there?
She's frozen. Okay. Florence, okay. You're back.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. To my own opinion, some churches are really doing well, while some are not. Like my church, my pastor actually supported my vision because my last outreach was June 30, which was on my birthday. He actually sent something I didn't even expect from him. It sent something and I was able to produce and give out to students because I was thinking like if I give these girls a disposable pad every month, it won't last them for long. So that was when I came up with the idea of a reusable pad, which is even more hygienic, which can last them for a couple of years, depending on how they are careful about it. So with churches, some are really trying, while some are just there. I don't want to really go much about churches issues like that. You understand?
Look, and I don't want to put you on the spot, and I know it's a very, very sensitive topic, Mrs. Adeniji, but we just try to say the way it is that if you as an individual, you just did your youth call just over a year ago, and you can be there doing what you're doing. We have mega churches and probably mega mosque with billions of naira in their accounts. Probably they can do better, but I understand that it's a very, very sensitive topic, and we leave it at that. I'll move back now to Elvis, and also I've got a comment there. So my brother Dele commenting about what the small project I just spoke about, and also trying to score a point that we follow in their footsteps. Yeah, actually, big brother, we follow in your footsteps. You started the whole thing, and we're just following your footsteps. Thanks for sharing that. So I'll go to Elvis now. Sorry, and my specific question is just a comment, and I just want your opinion about it. And obviously, this has to do with the retired neurosurgeon and Republican Dr. Ben Carson. Is known for his controversial comments. And I don't think he's no stranger to those comments. But I'm actually fascinated with this, and I just want your take on this, Elvis. We've been conditioned to think that only politicians can solve our problems, but at some point, maybe we wake up and recognize that it was politicians who created our problems. What's your take on that comment? I've seen diverse responses to that comment, but I want your take on it.
Yeah, in my view, Wale, it is not out of place. It is not out of place for people to look forward or look up to the government to solve some of their problems, because at the end of the day, government doesn't have the resources to solve all the problems that exist. But in some clients, government makes a conscious effort to at least address a lot of the problems that people actually have. Now, in Nigeria, I'm aware that for so many there, you're all frozen. Can you hear me? Wale, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, people have actually resorted to self-help. God knows how long now. I'll give you, instances that also creates the impression to me like there's an absence of government in some of the spaces back home. Now, when you talk about pipe, like you and I open the taps here, we get water. Pipe-borne water in Nigeria. When you finish building a house, the next thing you think of is drilling a borehole. You provide your own safe water. Almost everyone in Nigeria has a generator. Government is meant to be providing electricity, but almost every individual runs a gen. Worst case scenario, there's this one they call a Pass My Neighbor, the very tiny one, but it does the job, provides you, gives you at least power to, to illuminate your house, and you charge your stuff that you need to charge and just get life going. Now, I've also seen instances where people rely on a OPC to provide security. I don't know whether they're still there. So any effort at providing security, is done by the individuals who live around that neighborhood. Government is supposed to provide you security, but they are not. Efforts at fixing the roads. I've seen in my, where I grew up, while I saw a rich guy back in the days was going to use his own funds to fix a portion of the road that, led to his house at the time, and of course will service other members of the community. Guess what? The local government chairman in that area refused that he should undertake that project, only because, I don't know, somebody was thinking one day this project needs to be awarded, and it will be awarded to me, and I can make a chunk of money off it. So people, in as much as we say, yeah, people rely on government to solve their issues. The honest truth is that a lot of people have given up, and they're trying to do stuff for themselves and by themselves to have a good livelihood, to better their lots, to live a better life. People, in my opinion, are not entirely relying on the government to solve their issues. Now, look, and the government has a critical, let's not take the government out of the equation, Wally. They have a critical role to play in all of this. And an attempt, they also need to provide an enabling environment for people to run their businesses or to engage in this sort of self-help we're talking about to make their businesses run. Like our sister here, only got, I don't know the figures, but I can imagine how much you expend on running your generator or diesel to do those productions you undertake. Life will be easier if government would at least provide those basic necessities that will help businesses also thrive. So the government has a big stake in all of this, and to help people, people's businesses succeed, they need to do, or they ought to do, whatever it is possible within their capacity to ensure that these businesses thrive. Yes, people are looking up to government, it's not out of place, but people are also making conscious efforts and moves to ensure that they eke out a living, or they continue to at least subsist, to survive.
That's a very balanced approach, Mr. Nwashuku. We're balanced in terms of the role of the government. That's the reason why we have a government. But when we have failure of government, how long should we wait? Should we wait till eternity before we start to help ourselves? Well answered. I will go to Dr. Vicky now. And Elvis, briefly mentioned a wealthy person in his area when he was growing up and in his initiative, and how that was quickly shut down. But also, we have many of our people now, many young people, that they want to go overseas to do their masters, or in some cases to do their PhD, and a lot of them, they rely on, scholarships like Ford Foundation or Bill Gates, and all sort of scholarship that are funded by wealthy people in the foreign climb. Look, I've seen even some of the Nigerian universities, they have an award for best student, and you see this ridiculous amount of money, like 10,000 naira or 5,000 naira prize for the best students in accounting or whatever, best student in medicine. Do you really think that our wealthy men and women, are they really contributing enough to the good of the society, beyond the emotional cases we get from time to time? But in reality, like, are they really, putting enough to the growth of the society from their wealth?
Well, and to all our viewers, my answer to that is a big no. Most of them are there to serve themselves. Most are there to make more money for their own children. They actually don't care about other people. And you know what? All those scholarships here, scholarships there, whether within or outside, it's usually them pushing their children into this, kind of pushing out those who can't afford much and those that doesn't have Baba Nigbejo, Godfather. There was something that Elvis mentioned that I would like to expatiate on, and I'm kind of trying to, because I had so much to say on this point, Wale, that I'm not sure where to go with it. When someone, let's take for instance, Mrs. Florence Adeniji, who came up with this idea? And she's doing it not to make money out of it. She's doing it to bless other people. Meanwhile, where she lives, there will have been so many other people who are wealthy, who have the money, that could say, okay, let's sponsor 100 girls. Let's sponsor 200 girls. But they would do that. And I've seen, not one, not two, let's say a photographer. I was speaking to a photographer a while back when I was in Nigeria in 2018, the last time. This guy, he did a shoot for a wealthy guy. I'm not going to mention his name here, who refuse to pay him, because to them, and that is what they do, they just believe they can get anything for free. They don't need to pay for it. That they see themselves as actually helping them, as actually giving them space to photograph them. Who are you to be asking me to pay? What did you do? You only spent 4 hours. What are you talking about? I mean, this guy gave him invoice and he just refused to pay. He totally refused to pay. And they do that all the time. I mean, we've seen some fashion designers, shaming those Nollywood actors because they refuse to pay for their clothes, for their designs and stuff like that. It's happening again and again. And these are people who are trying to make ends meet. Instead of them to support them and to help raise them up, they are not even asking you to give them money for free. If we provide these services, pay up. And they still refuse to pay. And you are not providing jobs. You're hiding money in overseas account. There's no job, and these guys are trying to still make ends meet. Instead of you to now support them so that they can keep feeding their family, they can keep growing their businesses, they are refusing to pay. And I've heard of such reports, not once, not twice, a lot of them. And it happens again and again. So they are not doing enough. In my own opinion, they are not doing enough to help, to support, to lead as many young people up as possible. I was reading something, I think it was yesterday, about a Senegalese footballer who made a point. He said, in as much as he likes to have designer clothes and expensive outfits and expensive things, but he can't stop thinking about his people, Senegalese people, and providing what they need to help grow them, rather than him showing up. There is a saying in my language, I'm not sure where the feedback is coming from. So I just believe our wealthy people, our Nigerian wealthy people need to rethink how they are flaunting their wealth, how they are making other people feel, how they are riding other people, how they are, I don't care attitude. They need to rethink, because it's just not right. We all do know how much Amazon's wife, I can't remember his name now, his wife was donated, is it like $4 billion to charity? A lot of money to charity. Have we heard of our people doing the same? Or you see them coming on to show us their houses, fleet of cars? How can somebody, one person, there's no business to say this is my business that is growing. It's all based on what it's getting from the government. And it's showing us all these cars, 50 cars, one person. How many wristwatches, full house for one person? How about shoes? And he was so proud to go into his wardrobe and do videos, and he started showing everybody. Now, let me now come back to the basics on this. We can blame all these people as much as we can, but I think the blame still lies on our people. And why did I say that? Someone living in White House is not living in White House for me. That White House is not serving anybody but that person. That Bugatti car is not serving anybody but that person. So why should I be hailing that person? Saying, hey, the man in the White House, the man riding the Bugatti. Hey, why should I be doing that? It is our people that need to rethink, that need to borrow themselves some senses. Because we hail them, because we put them to that position, these people just can't demarcate between. So they would rather stay there and keep looking down at people because we've raised them up. We are the one that need to recruit. We are the one that need to borrow ourselves those senses and stop hailing them.
Thank you very much for that. You know, people make money. They work. Some people really work hard to make their money. It's their money, but for the good of society, it's good to give back. And I think that is what we've seen in most of the Western cultures. People giving back, you know, giving back to that society and remembering where they started their journey. And that's why many people want to win scholarships to go overseas and, you know, to study. I wish our people can do them. Very much for that. I will go to, because of time, Mrs. Adeni, since you started this laudable project, can you think of any moments that have been the most, I would say, happiest moment for you? Feel free to share. I'm sure like a project like this, that will have been a time where you really felt, wow, and for this reason, I want to continue to this more. Can you share that moment with us? And also, on the flip side, can you think of the moments where you feel like, what am I doing this for? Where you really, you know, challenge the situation. So, you know, two sides of the same coin. If you can share that with us.
Yeah. My happiest moment was when I went to the school AEST. I was interacting with some of the girls, and they were. There's a particular girl that said during her menstrual period that she doesn't put on anything. She just sleeps. I was like, "How will you sleep? Won't you stay?" She said she stays. She just pack them in the morning and wash. I was like, so now that you have this part, how do you feel? She was like, I feel like the happiest person among all the girls I've given. I was so great. Like I could actually brought a smile to someone. That was when I concluded that I'm going to continue doing this. And it has really been a challenge, really, because getting fund was really difficult at times. Sometimes I try to get through these politicians, these big people, but they just look down and what will be their gain, what will be their takes in this product. But I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I kept on doing the little I can do just to bring happiness and joy to many of these girls' faces. And last month, I tried to call up some of the girls because I do follow up about their usage and how to keep it clean. So I called one of them. The mom picked it, and the mom was just praying for long. Like she was just praying on the phone. I was like, I've really done something great. And another day that I was very happy was on my birthday. That was the first time I ever celebrated my birthday like that. I've never celebrated birthday in a big style, but June 30 was a very happiest day for me that I could celebrate my birthday with the less privileged and be able to impact life as well. So it has really been good, and I think I don't want to give up on this, even though the challenges are big, because most time I produce them myself with my one stand machine. So it's really challenging for me because at times I work overnight. I work overnight just to meet up with the target that I want to donate it for. So it's really been a difficult challenge for me. It's really difficult, and I'm so glad that I could also impact life instead. So I think I'm just doing fine with it.
Thank you very much. And we had a guest here maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then there was an issue that came up, and there was an issue that came up after his appearance on the show. around a kind of formal registration. Is the organization registered? Because that will lead us to the next question. If people really want to support you in whatever way, in terms of donation or whatever, we want to be sure that you have all the legal framework and you're registered. So are you registered? Is the organization registered?
No, it's not yet registered. I only registered as a business because then I had the opportunity when they did my NYC, it was a 50% off. So I quickly picked the opportunity to register it as a business. So I registered it as a business.
Okay. Thank you. We have Tulu Felicity. Is our regular viewer. She's been supporting this program. Thanks for sharing the promo, and thanks for being part of the program, Tulu. We appreciate you on this program. Elvis, are you still there?
Yeah, Wale, I am.
Okay, because look, I just want to, we getting towards the end of the program. I just want to ask you, what is the role of problem-solving innovators and investors in self-help community projects? So we're trying to combine to people that innovative, like our sister here. I could see the innovation beyond what she did, and also people that are also investors. How can we combine the two in actually addressing self-help community projects?
Yeah, well, it comes down to the question you posed to Vicky a while ago. Now, in the case of Florence, yeah, she's innovative. She's got the ideas, and she's got that level of support around her to take it off the ground. But I'm sure there are a lot of people in that space as well, where they've got the ideas. However, they haven't got the resources to, bring those ideas to fruition. And that is where those who have the resources or the investors need to come in. I mean, you and I see a lot of programs here. I think there's one in Australia as well, where people come up with these beautiful ideas, and then you have a consortium of individuals who also want to come in and throw their funds in and get that project off the ground. At the end of the day, the one who's got the ideas, the innovator, is eking a living out of it, is making out something out of it, and the investor as well is not just throwing money into it for the sake of throwing money into the project. They're also making money out of it. And what that does in effect is that it creates employment as well for it's a chain. It creates employment for people because people get hired. People need to undertake different roles to get this business going. So yeah, one is complementary to the other, and I'm going to advocate right here that those who have the capacity or the funding back home need to do a bit more. I mean, here, in the West, in the Western world, you could ask someone for $1 and they tell you they don't have $1. But that same person who has said to you, I don't have $1, can commit $10,000 or even more to charity because they want to touch lives. They know there are people who actually need that assistance. Well, I'll share this story with you quickly. I know you posed a question about the clerics or the pastors or whoever back home, and Mr. Denny answered that question the way she did. Now, when I look at what's happening back home and what I've experienced here, what I see here, it just tells me that our people need to do a bit more. I know there are pastors or men of God out there who are doing their best to support individuals, to support communities. Yet there are so much more who need to do a lot more. When we arrived here in Australia from the UK a couple of years ago, it's not for, we weren't lacking anything, but we got involved with this church. I still remember his name, Pastor Mel, the first family we met here in Australia, introduced us to that church. Guess what? At the end of every session, every church session, they open up the warehouse, and in that warehouse is filled with all sorts of things because they get donations from the likes of Woolies and Coles and all of that, and they give out freely to to people. And usually I'll say to the pastor, I say, look, I don't need this, I'm not interested, but they will force me, they compel me to actually take something from the warehouse every Sunday. For the first 6 months, I think the drink my boy used to take to school was from that from that church. Not that I was liking or that I needed it, but just in fact, this same pastor, because I was in real estate at the time, I was selling houses, and he said to me, "Look, Elvis, I know you just arrived, you don't know anyone here. We've got 2 lands, just to get you off the ground. Can you go and sell this for us?" That's how much he wanted to, support me at that time, and then support. So, how much of this do we get back home? We have people who, rather than assist individuals who are on the ground, who actually, as Vicky mentioned, oppress them with what they've acquired, their shoes, their watches, and all of that. I think it's about time people started having a rethink. Because, what is in this life anyway? Pastor T.B. Joshua is gone today, and we can see the legacy. We see how much people, were testifying to the goodness he had done to them one way or the other, have touched life. Now, he's gone, and he's gone in that wooden box I watched on telly the other day. He was laid to rest. So that's a place for our people to rethink and, have a reconsideration of their attitude or their ways of life. You benefit more by actually touching lives than amassing all this wealth that you're not going to go anywhere with. So yeah, back to the question. One is complementary to the other. We have a lot of innovative individuals who have beautiful ideas, but the problem is having the resources to take those ideas off the ground. And I also know that we have capable people who have the resources to help take these projects off the ground. We only need to cultivate that habit, and people need to start having everything about what life is all about. There's good in doing charity. And like you, my sister Florence, yeah, I felt the same. I mentioned it earlier. I saw those little girls who were helping out here. There's a membership fee for me to be a member of Rotary. So for me to even do voluntary work to help the people, I also need to pay every year to be part of that organization. Do you know what gives me joy? The smile I put on faces. The fact that people are actually benefiting from the good that we do as a community organization. So good on you. Kudos. All right.
Thank you very much, Elvis. And we just, because of time, my last question will go to Dr. Vicky, and then I'll come back to the group just to have our final words. Yeah, it's beautiful concept of self-help, community development. There are limitations, and that is what I want you to cover in terms of, social enterprise and all that. What are the limitations? Even though, as a concept, they look so beautiful, but they have their limitations as well. Especially when you look as a country, as the size of Nigeria. What are the limitations to the self-help projects, especially in our climate?
Yeah, in our climate, it is a good thing to want to help other people, but unfortunately, before you can set up a not-for-profit organization, you need to, set it up in a way that you're not the only one making all the decisions. There is an adage. Is it an adage that when you are the only one, you have the power, you have the money, then you can start doing whatever you want with it, even though you are coming to people to say, I'm helping others, help me contribute, and people start contributing. And that is happening with churches, right? Which is something that we are not happy with. That people are contributing instead of that money going to where it's supposed to go, which is helping people underprivileged. Those money is being used to, for these people's personal use. That's something we're not happy with. And now, when we talk about charity, we don't want the same thing to keep happening. So, the guy that we had here a few weeks back, that is the issue that people are having with him. It was in the hospital, people were still checking. No, that is a lie. He's not really in the hospital. He's just faking because he wanted money, and all like that was going on. And that is because there is no structure. It didn't have any structure. Here, when you say you have a charity, you need to have committee. You need to have 4 or 5 people registered with you on the paperwork, so that when there's a decision on who to help, where the money is going, there are people making that decision with you. People do take advantage. That is one of the problems. People do misuse the opportunity. And we're talking about charity, we're talking about not-for-profit organization. When people are dipping their hands into their pockets to help, they have the right to know, where's my money going? Is it going to the right place? Is it helping those people that you promised that it's going to be helping? If it's not doing this, that, then what's the point? And which was the problem the other guy has gone into. So people do take advantage. Yes, there is so much poverty around, but at the same time, no one wants to be taken advantage of. It's something that we all fight against. So if I'm helping, I want to know, where's my money going? Which is why it is very important. And that is to you, my dear Florence. You need to have appropriate structure with this. People want to know that, people want to see that, and people will be able to contribute. They want to see where their money is going. Yes, you're doing all the work. And when you buy stuff, yes, it goes under the expenses of your foundation. So it has to be done in appropriately. Okay. And that is something you need to start thinking about and start working towards. So to your question, Wale, yes, like anywhere, everywhere around, but it's just that in places like this, the structure is already there. You need to be able to answer their queries. Every year, you send in your report, your financial report, your profit and loss. Government wants to see it. Okay, so you can't just say, oh, I'm raising money and nobody's asking, where's that money going? If this year nobody asks, next year nobody asks, of course, year after, money start disappearing, going to places. And there has been people that have been caught doing it and they were jailed for it. So in our climb, it's easy to get away with things like that. That is why having the structure in place will actually help someone like Florence. And anybody out there thinking about, say, having a foundation or not-for-profit organization.
The whole idea behind tonight's topic is more about trying to look, outside the box. We've been talking about a lot of issues with the government in terms of, lack of that, contribution towards socio-economic development of our people. But as a people of culture, we know that historically, as Elvis mentioned, our people have been part of several projects since, for hundreds of years. In Yoruba land, we had that history. In Igbo land, they had that history. We had people that they had to do a job, which is more like a contribution. That they have about 12 people contributing 500 every week or a month, and one person will take the whole money, in a month and do it into a small business, and they do that in rotation, and then they do that. Maybe many of us even went to school through that kind of arrangement by our mothers. It's a form of self-help project that people can still do what they have to do, at least to be able to support their small businesses and be able to, to get to reshape the direction of their life's trajectory. I will go to Elvis now for his final words for tonight.
The oil boom in the 70s gave people the wrong impression that government will provide them with um, everything. But, that's not the case. I'm also glad to see that people are actually taking initiative uh, to take themselves out of poverty, or to create employment for themselves and others around them. I will only advocate that, again, like, we cannot divorce the government from even this discussion tonight. Government has a major role to play. I will advocate that, at least at the barest minimum, government to provide infrastructure to help these young businesses, or these individuals who have these ideas, to help them take these ideas off the ground, and also when they do get off the ground, to ensure that they also they are sustained. One of the major limitations will be funding as well. So our banks will have a major role to play, rather than supporting individuals, because that's the norm that I find in Nigeria. The banks will support those individuals who already have um, billions of naira. I mean, if a Dangote sneezes in Nigeria today, all the banks will rally around him, fly overseas to ensure nothing happens to him, because they do a lot of business with him, and they need to also consider doing business with people like Felicity or others who are about to take off the ground. Give them that encouragement and support, and then maybe we'll focus less on the government if that begins to happen. So the individuals, the government, and the banking sector, and even the wealthy individuals, have a major role to play in this self-help project. It will target self-help, but it can also be better, and you know have a multiplier effect when all these other agencies come into it. These are my final words, Wally.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Adeniji, your final words for tonight. Hello? Are you there, Mrs. Adeniji?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I said your final words. So that is how we round up the show. So you've got the floor to tell us your final words.
Oh, okay. I really appreciate being here with you guys today. Like, it really means a lot to me. And I've tried also to register with NAPDAC, but the condition are so great that I can't meet it up for now. But in the nearest future, I will be able to meet up. And I'm also trying my best to do more for the community, at least with my little way of raising funds from my friends and family. And they have always been greatly supporting my vision. I hope one day maybe I will have it as a huge what do you call manufacturing place where I can employ more people to create more job opportunity out there, because in Nigeria we have today a lot of graduate people out there every day and yet they don't have job. I think with this I can create job opportunity for girls and for male out there. I'm so grateful for coming to your program today, Sister Vicky. I'm really grateful.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure really having you on the program, my dear sister. Keep up the good job. I can see the combination of problem solving, innovativeness, and just smart thinking. Keep up the good work. Our dear sister Blessing Kolade has been on the show. She's a friend of the show. Thanks so much for being part of the show, Blessing Kolade. So it's time to hand over the baton to Dr. Vicky or Miss Folaji to close this today's chapter.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Wale. Thank you so much. There is a thing that I do share with my group, the Global Achievers, and it's all about you learn, you earn, and then you give back. You learn, you earn, and then you give back. So you learn whatever you need to learn. We've been to university, we've done masters, or we've gone and learned a trade, and then we start making money with what we've learned, and then we start giving back. If you wait till when everything is okay, that you have so much to eat and you have so much left over before you can start giving, let me assure you, it's very hard for people to get to that place. In most cases, most people don't even get there because they kept chasing one thing, and as soon as they get there, they start chasing another. As soon as they finish that, they start chasing another. It never finishes until they are at their deathbed. And there is a man, a wise man, there was a wise man, Dr. Wayne Dyer, that said that don't you die with your music still inside of you. And another wise man echoed that. He said that's Les Brown. Les Brown now said, just imagine on your deathbed, there is a ghost of dream, of vision, of things that do come to you that only came to you, didn't go to anybody else. It came to you. And you didn't do any of those things. And just imagine the ghost of those things now coming to say, here you are, about to die. We came to you. We chose you. We didn't choose Wale, but we chose you, Vicky. You didn't follow through. You didn't do it. And here you are, you're about to die. Don't you die with your music still inside of you. The day that the idea came to my dear sister, Florence Adeniji, that there are so many young girls without this, they would need help, they don't have money. What can I do? She just finished serving. I'm sure she must have learned how to sew sometime in her journey through uni. I'm believing so. She didn't wait till she get a job at a bank. She didn't wait till she started making hundreds of thousands a month. She started now. The time to start helping other people is now. It's now. And you start with what you have, where you are at. She didn't wait till she get a big shop. She must have a corner in her house, and she started doing something, making impact. So I hope this show today has encouraged somebody else out there to start doing, not complain, not look for reasons why not, but to start taking a step after the other. Don't you die with your music still inside of you. So, Florence, give me an idea. How much does it cost to make one? Are you still there, Florence?
Yes, ma'am.
How much is it to make one? One pad. Did you hear that, Florence?
No.
Okay.
Come again.
How much is it for you to manufacture one reusable pad?
Okay. I have some samples here. Yeah, to produce this, let's see. This is how I packed it. I have the one of pack of 3 and the one of pack. So this is the one I do distribute to girls, the pack of 2, which costs 1,500 naira.
1,500 naira to produce.
Well, yes.
And that goes to one girl.
Yeah, that goes to one girl.
Okay. That goes to one girl. All right. Send me pictures of it.
Okay, ma'am.
Send me pictures, and I will be talking to you about it.
Okay, ma'am.
Later on, okay? Well, you are doing a fantastic work here, okay? And yes, I will like to give you support.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
all right. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be in touch. All right, so that brought us to the end of today's show. Yeah, it's been great. It's just been so great. It's been great having Florence here sharing her dreams, what she's been doing, and how she's been impacting communities. We appreciate you. Just keep going. Don't look back. Even there will be times when you feel like giving up. Don't give up. Just keep going, okay? And to Wale for moderating today's show, I appreciate you as always. Thank you. And Mr. Elvis, my brother, Mbokweno, Eshegoni, thank you so much. I appreciate you both. To all our viewers out there, we had so many today. We appreciate you. We actually do. Until next Saturday, when we bring on to you another great topic, you all take care. May God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
It's LC the beat guy. LC the beat guy.